G'day ladies and gentlemen, we are Callum
and Ben
from Abacus Productions and welcome to the Second Chance Cinema.
Here at the Second Chance Cinema, we love nothing more than to give movies with a bad reputation one final opportunity to bask in cinematic greatness.
If a film succeeds, we'll place it on the shelf of redemption so that people can finally recognise its true quality.
If a film fails, we will send it back through the portal to movie hell, never to be seen again.
Grab some snacks, sit down and get comfortable.
The show is about to begin.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about a movie that is widely known as one of the worst superhero movies of the modern era. We're of course going to be talking about DC Suicide Squad.
Nope.
Batman v Superman.
Not that one either.
Catwoman?
Did you not listen to me when I said what we were watching today?
No.
Well, this is none other than 2011's Green Lantern.
Oh, come on, do we have to? I remember when this film came out and it was goddamn horrible. Why do you do this to me?
Hey, you were younger back then. Your taste might have changed. Besides, the show's all about giving poorly received movies a fair go. It's in the title sequence. It's the whole point of the name of the show. Get it in your head. Now, sure. This movie may have a 27% critic score and a 45% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as a 5.6 on IMDb, but who knows? Maybe it's better than people said it was. Maybe it's better than you said it was.
I'll believe it when I fucking see it.
Okay, well, I've never actually seen this movie and I don't know a lot about it.
Okay, in that case, the movie was directed by Martin Campbell and stars Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively and Mark Strong amongst a cast of other great actors.
Huh. That's a pretty great lineup. Alright, well, I'm excited to watch this. I reckon it's going to be better than everyone says it is. So, without further ado, this is 2011's Green Lantern.
It's green. Do you get it, Ben? It's green. Everything in this opening sequence is green. The Warner Bros. Logo? Green. DC logo? Yep, that's green too.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to make everything green? Here, I'll show you. Green. 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 Green.
Settle down. The movie just started. Anyway, we open flying through space while hearing some narration from a veteran actor. So original. Never seen that before ever. Never in my life have I ever seen that in a movie. In this case, it's Jeffrey Rush, who explains to the audience the origins of the Green Lantern Corps, as well as our villain Parallax. We then see a few aliens exploring a planet, and they encounter Parallax, and Parallax kills them instantly.
We're then introduced to Abin Sur, who is having a Skype call with Sinestro, played by Mark Strong. Once they finish their call, Parallax attacks the ship and leaves Abin Sur running for an escape pod where he crash lands on Earth. He knows he's going to die soon, so he tells the ring to find a new holder. Do you think there are any innocent crew members left on that ship?
Shit, I don't know. But if there were, then this walking piece of chewed up bubblegum deserved what he got. We're then introduced to Ryan Reynolds. No, wait. We're then introduced to Hal Jordan, played by the world's hottest dork, Ryan Reynolds, as he wakes up and realizes he's late for work. He leaves his one-night stand in his apartment and rushes off. As he's speeding down the road trying to get to work on time, he does his best impersonation of Mr. Bean trying to get ready in his car while driving. Now, this is a good attempt, Hal. Good try. Proud of you. But nothing can top Bean. Check this shit out.
Now I want to watch Mr. Bean.
You and I both, mate. You and I both.
He arrives at work just in time for his big flight. You see, Hal is a jet pilot and his company is trying to sell automated fighter jets to the military by proving they are the future of air combat in a test dogfight. His flight partner, Carol Farris, who is played by Ryan Reynolds' future wife Blake Lively, is the head of the company's daughter. She's transitioning to behind a desk rather than flying a jet.
Now, these two actually met on the set of Green Lantern, and now they're married with 2 kids. That's crazy. Good job, movie. You brought these two together.
You did one thing good.
So, you'd think that, as they're talking on set, they're getting along great, and they're flirting a little bit, it's all kind of cute. You'd think that, in turn, that would lead to some really good on-screen chemistry together, right? These two don't mesh well on-screen at all. Maybe it's the script or the direction. They just don't work as an on-screen couple, at least in this movie.
Not to mention, Blake Lively is practically sleepwalking through this entire movie. I don't think I've ever seen a more bored performance in my entire life. Do you see how her face is barely moving? That's because there's no emotion. At all.
We cut to the two of them in the middle of the dogfight with the automated jets. Now, should this scene be intense and exciting? Yes. Is it? No. Through some dirty tricks and maneuvers that I don't think any actual trained pilot would ever dare to perform, Hal is able to outsmart the automated jets and defeat them. But in the process, he stalls the engine of his own jet, and before he's able to escape the aircraft, he has a flashback to the day of his father's death.
Hang on a minute. Is this another fucking movie with daddy issues? This better not become a trend.
Take a guess as to what happens to his father. I'm betting that your first guess is right on the money.
His dad used to be a pilot as well, but his jet engine exploded on the runway, and Hal watched in horror as his father burnt to death?
Yeah, pretty much. You're exactly right. Can they make this movie a little less predictable? Please? Please? On a side note, this kid is running towards a jet that just exploded and is probably about to burst into flames, and no one's stopping him. What the fuck, guys? There's a crowd full of people right there. They're all horrible human beings.
So Hal gets chewed out by both his boss and Carol for the incident, and he later quits his job, before they can fire him. He then goes to his nephew's birthday party where he gets chewed out by his entire family because the incident itself has made the local news.
Hal then goes to find his nephew in his room and give him his birthday gift. They then have a heart-to-heart talk that sounds so forced it's almost amazing.
I guess I got a little freaked out or something.
I told you that you don't have anything to worry about. Got you something, birthday boy. Wrapped it myself.
Later, Hal is swept across the city by the ring's power and taken to Abinsur's crash site. How has this not been investigated yet? Somebody at Area 51 needs to get fired. Anyway, Hal runs towards the pod containing Abinsur with literally zero hesitation. You don't know what that thing wants to do, or even what the hell it is. Why do you want to run towards it so desperately?
Maybe he never grew out of that running towards potentially dangerous aircrafts phase from his childhood. Anyway, Hal tries to help Abinsur, but it's no hope. With his last dying breath, Abinsur gives Hal his ring and lantern. His best friend then picks Hal up as helicopters finally approach the crash site, and they fuck off.
We cut to Sinestro talking to the Guardians of Oa, who essentially control the Green Lantern Corps, as he tries to warn them of the threat that Parallax poses. The scene is nothing special, but we get another stone-faced, bored as fuck performance, this time in the form of Mark Strong. Now, I don't blame Mark Strong for being so bored because he is so above this movie. But come on, man, move your face! Anything that is in your eyes and mouth!
I know, right? Mark Strong is such a good actor. You'd think he would at least put in the effort to, I don't know, make other facial expressions that aren't... The makeup on him looks pretty good, and he's a strong enough presence, no pun intended. But come on, Mark. Just move your face. Just once, maybe even once, ever, please. Come on. Please. Please.
Anyway, moving on. We're then introduced to Hector Hammond, played by Peter Sarsgaard, who is a science guy who does science stuff.
I love those guys.
We don't know what he does.
No.
He's kidnapped by the government and taken to a secret facility where Amanda Waller asked him to examine Abinsur's body. During the examination, though, we see that Hector gets exposed to some yellow goo inside the wound on Abinsur's chest. It turns out that's the stuff that Parallax was feeding on the whole time. Fear. It's goo now. Fear is goo.
Fear is good. Why not? Meanwhile, we see Hal trying to activate the ring and the lantern. Now, this scene is fine. Ryan's trying to make it work, but I just can't help but feel like this could have been such an awesome scene. This is the first time that Hal is experiencing the power of the lantern, the first time he recites that famous lantern oath. But it's just Hal sitting around in his lounge room, yelling 80s references at the lantern. I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity for a cool scene.
At the end of the scene, Carol shows up and the two of them go out to the bar for a drink and talk about stuff. This is actually a pretty decent scene. We learn about the two as characters. I mean, the dialogue isn't anything special, but the two make it work and you can actually feel the chemistry between them. Sadly, this is the only scene you feel that chemistry.
After Hal storms out of the bar when Carol asks what happened in the jet earlier, 3 guys intercept Hal and beat the ever-loving shit out of him for getting them fired. When Hal goes to fight back, the Green Lantern ring activates and whoops all 3 guys with one giant Hulk hand punch.
The power of the Hulk can be yours when you need it with Hulk hands.
Again, I thought this was a pretty effective scene. The pacing was good, Ryan's reaction worked, it was shot well, there was some nice CGI. The last few minutes of this movie's actually been alright. Maybe it picks up from here.
Oh boy, you got another thing coming.
Why? What's next?
Hal is swept up by the ring and is flown through space. Eventually, we cut to Hal attached to some magic science machine, and this scene only serves one purpose. Get Ryan Reynolds in his underwear so we can film it, put it in the trailer so that girls will come into the cinema.
Sounds about right to me. But what does this secret science magic machine do?
I'm glad you asked. It scans him for the Green Lantern suit.
Wait, this is the Green Lantern suit? The CGI animated one that they make fun of in Deadpool?
The very same!
Oh god, ew! It looks so fucking bad. The lighting on the suit is all off and the detail is basically not there. It's an interesting concept, sure, but it's just executed so poorly.
No shit, dude. Anyway, Hal then meets a skinny fish bird thing.
Have you concluded admiring yourself?
Ah! Okay, this thing's name is Tom Array. Now, you'd expect anyone to have this kind of reaction to it. But how does Ryan Reynolds react?
Yeah.
Yep, he doesn't. Not at all. Is this a subtle way of showing us that Hal truly has no fear? No. I'm guessing that nobody showed Ryan Reynolds any concept art or anything for Tom Array, so he had no idea what he was reacting to. So we get this blank face, just a blank stare. In fact, that's what we get for every reaction to all these alien creatures. He has nothing. There is no facial reaction to anything he's seeing, and I'm betting it's because Ryan Reynolds had no clue what he was acting against.
As well as that, the other problem with this scene is that Tom Array then goes on to explain everything about the planet of Oa and the Green Lantern Corps. So you know that opening narration?
Yeah.
That's useless. You could cut that out completely and you wouldn't miss a thing.
Anyway, we then see them flying through the skies of Oa, and they land at a meeting of the Green Lantern Corps. This is led by Sinestro, who is warning everyone else about the threat of parallax. They then shoot their ring lights up into the sky, which looks
somewhat familiar.
Yeah.
Hal goes on to do a bunch of combat training with Kilowog, played by Michael Clark Duncan, and Sinestro. Both the aliens kick the shit out of Hal. It leaves Sinestro to tell him that he is not worthy of being part of the Green Lantern Corps, and Hal chucks a hissy fit and says that he's gonna quit. Ben, you know what I keep thinking while watching this movie?
What do you keep thinking?
2 things. Firstly, this movie would be so much better if it was just animated. The CGI generally isn't that bad. I mean, the only time it's bad is when it's blending with the real-world elements, and when we're away from Earth, Mark Strong and Ryan Reynolds are the only things that are there. So, why not make an M-rated animated film where we can just explore the universe with the Green Lanterns? I mean, this just makes sense. This is such a good cast. Just get them to do voiceover work.
I do agree with that, actually. Green Lantern stories never really take place on Earth, so fuck it. Remove the real-world restrictions. Animate everything. You can have some amazing visuals, some great, unique stories.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Anyway, What's the second thing?
Oh yeah. They need to make a Green Lantern open world video game. Now, just imagine being able to go around the entire universe, different space sectors, with all different types of Green Lantern abilities, and even being able to make your own. God damn, that game would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Holy shit, I want to play that game right now. But we're stuck watching this movie. So, game developers, while we're doing this, start working that game right fucking now.
Moving on from my amazing idea. We cut to Hector teaching a high school class in the science building. Great name, guys. What's the library called? Book building? As he starts to really feel the effect of the yellow goo, he uses the force to fling a shitty actor across the room and then gets sent out of the classroom. He then gets called for a meeting with his dad, played by Tim Robbins.
The meeting doesn't really serve much of a purpose, except to set up some tension for them later, but I just can't get over how funny Peter Sarsgaard's poop face acting is.
He really does have a good poop face.
We cut to a big party where they're celebrating the fact that the military ended up buying those automated jets even though Hal wrecked their shit earlier. All the human characters are at this party and there's some pretty decent interactions between them. I mean, except for Ryan and Blake, because they go back to having no chemistry whatsoever, but all the other ones work pretty well, including this.
Hey!
Hector's father is taken off in a helicopter and Hector decides to sabotage it and attempt to kill his own father. Hal, being the only one who can save the day, dons the Green Lantern suit and in a pretty creative way saves everyone in the party, including Carol.
We see that the yellow goo has started to take over Hector's entire bloodstream and it morphs him into a horrible human monster. The dangers of cholesterol. Then later we cut to Hal visiting Carol's office in the Green Lantern suit, hoping she won't recognize him. She does, because obviously she would. Look at him.
The pair go off somewhere else in the airbase and have a cute little chat in front of a blue screen. Hey look, it's not green.
That's nice.
This is a decent enough scene, but again, it's a lack of chemistry that are killing their on-screen time together. Can I just point out that the now married parents of 2 children have 0 on-screen chemistry? Yikes.
Hector's condition worsens as he's taken in by the government to be examined. Hector refuses to be examined and basically he whoops the butt of anyone who tries to stop him from leaving. The Ring warns Hal of this danger and he goes to try and stop Hector and they have a standard hero-villain battle. Then at the end of it, Hector reads Hal's mind.
Hal knows that Parallax is coming and basically refuses to fight him as he's quit the Green Lantern Corps. But Carol and Tom convince him that he has to fight him because though he might be afraid, he is courageous.
Hal goes back to Oa to talk to the Guardians, and guess who's already there? Yep, it's Sinestro.
It's kind of like he's trying to convince him that he's actually the cool kid. It's kind of sad.
Hal convinces the Guardians to let him fight Parallax on his own so that he can save his planet. He then returns to Earth, where Hector has Carol hostage in one of the air hangars. Hal manages to coax Hector into letting Carol go by giving him...
Wait a minute! There is no way that Hal got to where she was in that amount of time. Either Hal's an Olympic-level sprinter, or this is just bad editing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with bad editing.
Parallax arrives on Earth and kills Hector pretty much instantly for failing him. As he tries to kill Hal, Carol programs some jets to fire missiles into Parallax's face. The 2 get away, but Parallax quickly moves on to trying to wipe out the population.
Isn't it convenient that a human-crafted weapon such as a missile affects an intergalactic beast such as Parallax?
It sure is. How handy. Parallax begins to attack the city and starts to kill millions of innocent people. But Hal shows up in the nick of time to try and take him into outer space to finish the fight there. There are some more fun Green Lantern actions here, and Hal finally overcomes his fear and successfully gets to outer space with Parallax chasing after him.
They continue to fight until Hal manages to trap Parallax in the gravitational pull of the sun, therefore burning him alive. So, moral of the story. One rookie Green Lantern can do what dozens of veteran Green Lanterns couldn't do just because he's the main character of the movie.
Literally seconds later, Sinestro, Kilowog, and Tom Array all show up to save Hal from the sun's gravitational pull. Where were you guys like, I don't know, 30 seconds ago? You could have helped Hal fight, but nah, just let him die. Let him die, he's fine.
Yeah, fuck him, he's fine. The Corps all congratulate Hal on his victory as Sinestro makes a speech.
This guy really just likes hearing himself talk.
They do the Futurama robot fight again, and then Hal returns to Earth to do some kissy-kissy romance stuff with Carol before the film ends. I mean, how can you blame him? It is Blake Lively after all. Okay, so we finally made it through this movie, and now it's time to judge. Is it going to go on the shelf, or is it going to go back through the portal to movie hell? Let's find out in the final verdict.
Kaboom, blam! Oh, excuse me again, dear.
So, positives. My first positive. Peter Sarsgaard was pretty good. He wasn't given a lot to do, I don't think, but what he did have, I thought he was really effective. His poop face acting was cool, but it was also creepy. Like, it was funny, but it was also creepy.
Very creepy.
I think the makeup on him also was pretty good. I'm pretty sure, like, it was prosthetics and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it looked really good, I think. He looked disgusting and just lumpy and gross, and I didn't like it. I didn't like looking at it, but I can appreciate that it looked good. So everything about Peter Sarsgaard was decent.
My first positive is that Ryan Reynolds really tried.
He did.
It may not come across it in the movie, but the amount of effort he put into this, he tried so hard to make it work. I'm a big fan of the man, so I'm not going to knock him completely, and it may be a bit biased, but I feel like if he was given a great script and, you know, what aliens looked like, I reckon this film would be much better from his point of view.
You can tell he doesn't like it either. You know, like, it's obvious that he fucking hates this movie because, you know, they made fun of it in Deadpool and all this kind of stuff, so it's, you know, he tried.
Let's move on to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
The negatives.
First negative. Alright, let's see. Most of the other acting is pretty below average. Blake Lively, like we said, is fucking asleep during this entire movie.
Mark Strong doesn't have facial expression.
Those two are the worst, definitely. Everyone else is just kind of below average.
Jeffrey Rush uses his voice, and so does Michael Clarke Duncan.
You always love listening to those two. Those two are fine, because it's just their voice. They didn't have to not make facial expressions. No one else really makes an impact. But, no, Blake Lively and Mark Strong. Oh my god.
Come on, guys. Step up your game.
Seriously, we're not joking. Both of them have literally one scene where they make an actual facial expression. We're not joking. Like when Hal shows up on her balcony, and she realizes it's Hal. She's like, oh my god, Hal. Oh, it's you.
That's it.
And I was like, oh, whoa. We were both literally like, whoa, a facial expression.
It happens.
And then in this scene where all the Green Lanterns get killed by Sinestro. Not by Sinestro, sorry, by Parallax. And Sinestro's watching it happen. He kind of makes a facial expression. He's like...
He moves an eyebrow.
He's a bit more...
Actually, no, the only time
he's a bit more shocked.
The only time he actually blinks, and this is my big problem with him, the guy does not blink. The only time he blinks is during the Skype call at the beginning. He does this.
He blinks once, maybe.
He, like, stutters his eyes.
Let's move on.
My first negative, if you couldn't tell us is coming, there is too much green.
Green!
Yes, the movie's name is Green Lantern, and the whole planet of Oa is green. That I can forgive. What actually killed me was this opening sequence. When I got mad about it at the beginning, that's how I generally reacted when I first saw it. It was literally just fucking green effects over the normal yellow and blue Warner Brothers logo.
Yeah, nice job, guys. Nice job with that one. Next negative for me. The script was pretty bad. All the lines, pretty much every single line was something you've heard in another movie before. All of Ryan and Blake's dialogue with each other. It's been said 1,000,000 times in 100 different movies. That didn't make any sense, but I'm not good at maths. All the stuff from space, all the explanations from like Jeffrey Rush and whatnot, you've heard it all before. All the villains' dialogue, you've heard it all before.
It's a very generic, stock standard superhero dialogue. You watch any other shitty superhero movie like we mentioned earlier, you're gonna hear roughly the same shit.
Alright, my second positive, my only other positive. Sinestro's makeup looked cool. They made Mark Strong look nice. It's a very nice shade of red. His head looks cool. His mustache, his twiddly little fucking piss-poor mustache.
I could grow a better mustache and I don't have leg hair.
He's not wrong.
My next positive, and again this is my last positive, keep in mind this film is hard to find positives on. The ideas they had, although it comes from the comics mostly, were really good, and I reckon they picked a lot of the great ideas. The idea of the suit is actually really smart. The suit taking the form of their skin, really good. Doing it with CGI, clearly the only way you could do it. Although it looked like a great idea on paper, the execution, poorly.
There was good concepts in this movie.
Bad executions.
Bad executions.
Alright, so move on to your next negative.
My next negative, the pacing was fucking awful. Basically, nothing happens for 75% of this movie. Once Parallax starts coming closer to Earth, that's when the action ramps up a little bit. But it feels like nothing happens. Scenes are either too short or too long. It's... I don't like the pacing in this movie.
Clearly. No, I agree. The pacing in this film is appalling. If you can get through the first hour and a half, maybe, or maybe just a little over an hour, then congratulations. I tried to sit through this 3 times without touching a phone or a computer, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It is such a hard watch.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it was too fast, but at least it was entertaining at parts. This is just so slow, and it's barely interesting ever. Your last point, please.
No, I've got
I'm done
2.
with it.
I've got 2.
Oh, you've got 2
I've
more,
got
don't
2,
you?
we scrubbed the order.
Let's just go with it.
So, my second negative, continuing off this, it is boring. Anyone watching this movie needs to know that it is a boring watch. If you were trying to do what we're doing and review bad movies, start with this one because everyone after that will be better.
No, don't start with this one. Never fucking watch this movie.
We've done it for you.
Oh my god. We watched it 3 times and we fell asleep almost.
I did.
All 3 times. You did on the second watch.
I did. The reason I find this film so boring is although the pacing is what we were talking about before, but nobody knows what they're doing. Everyone's kind of like, we've got a script, we've got lines, let's just...
I feel like Martin Campbell didn't really know how to handle this. We read up on it, and he wasn't really familiar with the Green Lantern property. They had a director before him that was a huge fan of Green Lantern, and he co-wrote the script. But then the script got doctored and rewritten, and then they brought in Martin Campbell because he was successful with Casino Royale. I feel like he didn't know what he was doing, so no one else knew what he was doing. The director has to run the ship, and if he doesn't know what he's doing, then...
That ship's going down, and this went down quickly!
Yeah. Okay, last point.
Okay, last point is there is way too much CGI, and although I could shit all over the suit, that's not where I'm going to go, apart from the fact that they fucking CGI'd his eyes. The actual eyes go from brown to blue. Or, no, it's not green.
No, it's blue.
It's
yeah, you're right.
blue.
You're right.
The Green Lantern, that's the one thing they couldn't turn green. The CGI that bugs me is every time it's used on Earth. In space, it's fine. On Oa, it's fine. In Earth, it's appalling. Yeah. It stands out like a sore thumb, and there is no way to hide it. As I said earlier, if it was just a space film with just the CGI characters, it would be great.
Yeah, it would look, at least it would look nice.
It would, but even then I feel like the story could be better because they're not having to worry about introducing everyone.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not even that. I think it's that they don't have to spend time on Earth. So you can go to all these fucking made-up planets, and it's awesome, and the CGI's not going to look crap on them.
Alright, so it's time to figure out whether this film's a pass or a fail.
Oh, God, it's a fail.
It's a fail. There is no debate about it.
At the end of the day, Green Lantern is just boring. There is no better word to describe it. The characters are boring. The script is boring. The action scenes are boring. The villain is boring. The hero is boring. Everything. I could go on, but I won't. Green Lantern deserves its reputation. Everything people say about it is true.
Okay, so same as last week, we've got to figure out for rock, paper, scissors who's opening the portal, alright?
Alright, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Not.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Alright.
Let's do it.
Rock, paper, scissors! Ha! No! Don't have to do it. Ha! Fuck. Get your ass over there. Okay. I'm ready to do it. Actually, give me a minute. Now this thing's been seen to, you ready? Here it goes. I'm just gonna go for it, alright?
Come on, you fucking bastard, Tony!
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Second Chance Cinema. We hope you really enjoyed it and got a bit of a laugh out of it.
Please like the episode if you liked it. Leave a comment if you've got anything to say, any feedback or anything like that. Subscribe to the channel, of course, because who wouldn't? Look at us beautiful bastards making YouTube shows over here. And go watch the first episode if you haven't yet, because we worked super hard on it, and we worked super hard on this one, and we're just super hard workers. At least when it comes to this.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you join us again at the Second Chance Cinema.